Hello, welcome. My name is Emmy Akura Adaa, and we are on the Matters Arising, myself and my co-host Akinkunle Akinola. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm blessed, and you?
So good to have you once again.
It's always good to share this platform
So
with
what do you
you.
have for our beautiful viewers out there today?
Ah, we've had issues that have been on and things like that, and today we had to carefully select
Our
what we
words,
have to.
our words.
Yeah, we have to
That's
carefully
essentially
select what we're going to discuss today, and I feel what we're discussing today, it's either we get to results,
Okay,
we change the mindset of the people.
okay.
And then the other one is if the leaders will hear what we are saying on this day, then they need to effect the change. And I want to believe it's something that everybody needs to carefully sit down, listen to what we have to say, and then understand where we're coming from. You know, it's not actually a biased program. Carefully listen to what we have to say, then we now start dealing with all those issues like that, because I really can't wait for us to get into what we have to discuss today. It's very, very sensitive as well.
Oh, wow. And if you don't know what we're going to be talking about today, we have two topics actually that we're supposed to be talking about, but we're going to start with a very, very, very important one. And that is talking about the EFCC from Nigeria. The EFCC has been anti-graft that was established by Olusegun Obasanjo's regime in 2003. And when he established this institution, it was for it to be able to curtail the excesses of some of the politicians, being it well-mannered Nigerians, in a way which we can be able to portray that name in a positive light out there. But so far, I doubt if that is what the agency is doing in Nigeria. And there's been a whole lot of outcry from Nigerians about what is happening in Nigeria when it comes to EFCC. And my co-host is going to help us to unravel some of those things. But sir, let's look at the EFCC. The EFCC was created by Obasanjo, and like I mentioned, it was created for us to for EFCC to be able to fight the corruption in Nigeria. Are they really doing that?
Okay, you know, one of the things I personally believe is before we can say there is a problem, or before I can suggest something to you, that means I must have discovered a problem.
Okay.
And however, I have an opinion or a view as to if we can go this way, then it's going to be the solution to the problem I have seen.
Okay.
Now, somebody actually brought out this paper. Somebody discovered that, okay, people need to write on something. And somebody came up with the idea, let's create a paper and a
Let's
pen.
look for pen.
You understand? So that means the person have solved a problem.
Okay.
So which now talks about the point that if the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. So laying the foundation that the purpose of something needs to be understood first,
Okay.
before we can say we want to do anything.
All right.
However, if purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable.
Inevitable, yeah.
Now, another aspect, because we need to lay the foundation before we go into, are they really doing what they are doing?
Okay.
Another thing is for you to engage my expertise on a particular issue,
Yes.
or anything. But if I don't understand the reason for you establishing or you trying to engage my expertise, that means there's going to be division. Division talks about two visions, because initially I don't understand what you want me to do.
Okay.
So if I don't understand what you want me to do, sir, can you blame me?
But another thing you also need to understand is that the intention might be genuine, right?
Your
And
intention is
yes,
genuine, but
you
I'm
understand-
looking at it from the flip side.
Okay.
You have a very good intention, that is to say you want to provide solution to something.
Okay.
But you engaging me, do I see what you're saying?
Okay. Now, this is the outcry from Nigeria, that a lot of people are crying about EFCC, that EFCC was actually established to be a political witch hunt, you know, to a lot of the political opponents, opposition and all that, and is an agency that has been used to oppress a lot of Nigerians. This is the cry of Nigerians, because there have been issues about EFCC arresting people. EFCC now is their duty now. First, like you said, we need to identify what are the responsibilities of EFCC.
That's right.
What are they there for? Are they there to see you on the road as an innocent citizen and then suspect you that you might be a criminal?
That's right.
Is that a duty of an EFCC, EFCC agency to carry out? So those are the things that a lot of people are crying. And it's our responsibility also, we that are privileged, to have a platform where we can express ourselves to be able to enlighten people about this.
That's right.
So what do you, because right now, I saw a video where a guy was talking about EFCC. I was very passionate about it because the cry is that we are suffering in this nation. And sometimes you see a boy dressed in a way, and is arrested that is Yahoo Yahoo, that is a fraudster. You know, how do I then dress as a person that nobody will look at me and say, or will arrest me, that I'm a criminal?
Now, going back to where we actually pick it up from then, before we now take it a step further, looking at the vision, what we have here says, an agency operating to best international standards. So that is to say, the bar needs to be raised up to the international level, and leading the fight against economic and financial crimes. So the first thing we want to do is we want to raise our bar to the international standard, and then we want to fight against economic and financial crimes in Nigeria. So now, if we now understand, by virtue of what we have here, that this is what we want to do. So that means the road we actually want to go through, we have a roadmap for it. We have the route in which we want to follow. However, in as much as we have this, does not say the fact that you dress this way, you have a big chain, and I see you as a potential criminal. That's not what we're saying. Have I done my primary assignment to try to look into you? It may be undercover.
True.
Because I want to believe EFCC should have the right for them to go to the banking sector. I know the banks will say, no, you don't have so and so right. But if we want to fight against crime, there should be a level of operations within the banking parameters for them to be able to say, okay, can we just look at the transactions of this person in the past 5 years so that they can see the cash flow before we can come? If there are inconsistencies, okay, say for example now, somebody is not working. January, let's say 10 million naira enters into the account, unknown source. 6 months after, 5 million, unknown source. You understand? So now we've seen patterns and we've seen traits. Then we can now come up with our own formulation that, okay, sorry, sir, we would like to invite you into our office.
To answer some questions.
To answer some questions. You understand? So by so doing, we will now put ourselves on the right track. But I believe some of the people that are meant to be workers don't even understand why they are there.
Okay, that is another thing. And you read something that is very profound. You read about an agency operating to best international standards. I just want to outline these. International standards. When you're talking about international standards, there is rule of law.
That's right.
Right? People have rights. The human rights are there if you're actually trying to emulate what they're doing outside or which meet that international standard. And then the standards, first, we don't have that in a country like Nigeria, where you say there's a rule of law, you know, people who are respecting, or even the agencies themselves, are they respecting the citizens of the nation? When you look at it from that angle, then you start looking at why the harassment. Why is it that the EFCC is now the one that is doing the job of a policeman in the country? You understand what I'm saying? Because the EFCC actually, there should be an institution created that will find you guilty, bring you to EFCC. EFCC will prosecute this person. Take this person to court, and then recommend that person for prosecution. You understand what I'm saying?
That's the order it should follow.
It should follow. But then if the EFCC are now the ones to appoint, because this is what is happening in Nigeria, and this is a cry of every Nigerian, that the EFCC are now the ones arresting people, deciding if you are guilty or not. You know, without sometimes, okay, a court say that this person deserved to be given bail. And the EFCC say, no, we still need to hold this person.
For what reason? Do they have subsequent things in which they've seen? Okay, let's go back to the training which you actually gave from the police officers handed over to EFCC, then EFCC to the judiciary arm. Now, you will see if EFCC, if there's an overlap, that means there's problem somewhere. So that means somebody is not doing his duty. But the fact that somebody is not doing his duty does not say you should infringe on human rights.
So now, do you agree with those people who say EFCC was created for political witch hunt? No, because if you agree with them, because if you don't agree with them, then why is it that the people in charge, because the president, which is the leader of the day, is supposed to be in charge of the EFCC? He appoints whoever it is that is want to be there. You understand what I'm to lead the agency. And now, if those people are not carrying out their own job or responsibility as they should, who is supposed to sanction them?
No, you're very correct. Looking at it from that perspective, you see, the thing is this. People have different views and different opinions to issues.
Okay.
I'm not saying that those people are wrong, and I'm not saying that we in the studio
we are
right. But we just want to say,
we're trying to find a solution.
Yeah,
to
we're trying to
this
provide a solution to it. If by the books, if this is what the books have said, then let us go with what the books have said. Now, if somebody is operating outside the books, that means the person also needs to be brought to the book.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. Because I cannot operate outside my bounds or my territory. If I do that, that is what they call trespass.
Okay, now this is another thing. We need to look at it from a different dimension also. Look at EFCC was established in 2003 by Obasanjo regime. And since that 2003, are you saying to me that a country of 200 million people with politicians, the richest people in the country being politicians, are you saying to me that you have only 17 prominent people who were corrupt?
Okay. You see, we still go back to the foundation. When purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable.
Yes.
And the truth of the matter remains, if EFCC needs to work, they need the judiciary arm to assist them. But the point is this, because my own thoughts, do we have that system in place? Even if you are the president, see what is happening in South Africa. Even if the president is wrong, you go to court. Are you above
we
the law?
actually have the public protector who can make findings against the president.
That's right.
Recommend the findings to the NPA, which is the National Prosecuting Authority.
You understand?
And then they decide
if it's guilty or not.
If it's guilty or not.
In Nigeria, sir, my question is this. In Nigeria, are we saying that we have the so-called powers holding that country? Are we saying that they are above the law? Because if everybody is not above the law, we should have more than 1,000 people that would have been brought before the books and judged.
In these, we have now, for a lot of our viewers out there who don't know much about Nigeria, Nigeria is a country with 36 provinces, which is what we call states in Nigeria. 36 of those provinces, every 4 years, they elect a governor who will govern them. They have some of the local governments, like some have 44 local government, which is the Kano state, Lagos state. They have numerous local government in Nigeria. And then if you look at these, there are councillors, there are local government chairmen, there are governors who have been in these states, and some of these states are in a very, very terrible conditions. Right. And you're saying to me that every year they allocate budget,
a substantial amount
of money to those states, right? No single person. Some of these people, after finishing 4 years as a governor, they go to the Senate. They win election, they go to the Senate. So are you saying to me that with the billions that were entrusted in the hands of these people, and nothing was done to improve the lives of their people in which they governed, and they're still there in the Senate? Are you saying to me those people were saints while in government?
No, they're not saints. See, let's look at it. We have a weak system, and we have to be sincere with ourselves.
Okay.
In the sense that I can get away with anything. Since I have my money, I can get away with anything. But sir, if we have a system that is running the way a system should run,
that is effective,
whether you are the president, whether you're a commoner, sorry for using that word, irrespective of who you are, irrespective of whatever echelon you find yourself, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Once you are brought before the law, you respect the law, and if the law says this, you do it.
You abide by
but because we have a weak system, so many people have used that as an advantage to do whatever it is. Say, for example, Nigeria still happens to be a country. Let's assume you are the president or you are the governor. Nigeria still happens to be a country that you can award a contract to me. And we will go to the site. I said I want to work, whereby a contract has been awarded to me, and we go there and we find nothing.
And nothing
happens.
Okay, now that is a very good example, sir. Thank you very much for bringing that up. And then we have a lot of those contracts that were awarded to
ghost contracts. That's right.
We have ghost workers.
Ghost
in
workers
Nigeria,
also,
right?
That's correct, yeah.
The sole responsibility And there's a sole purpose in which the EFCC was established in 2003 was to make sure that they do investigations and find things like this. You go to schools go to local governments where they have 15,000 staff, which out of that 15,000, only 5 are active.
That's right.
And the 15,000 are being paid for.
That's right.
So now the EFCC is living. They've never been one single case that's coming from EFCC that this is what we have discovered in each department in Nigeria that is not functioning. And these are the people that we have brought to book so far. So to me, and I believe everybody will agree with me that the agency is useless.
They're not doing what they're supposed to do. Let's just be sincere about it.
They're useless.
They're not doing what they're supposed to do, because if they're doing what they're supposed to do, if they understood the initial purpose for that thing, then everybody will do what they are supposed to do. Let me give you a practical example. You may agree, you may not agree. Bail is free in Nigeria, right? We all know that bail is free.
It's written everywhere in police station.
It is written, but is it really free?
Never.
I'll give you a practical example. 2011, I was opportuned, though not a very, very palatable incident, you understand? A friend of mine just got involved in, you know, you drink and the likes, and police came, everybody, you know, when people go and arrest, I'm not saying alcohol is good, they just go there, they pack everybody, you are criminals and things like that. The guy slept over, okay, when the next day, why are you drinking? You know, all those things. Let's leave that aside. Okay, it's time for this guy to be released. A paper was given, sign, bail is free.
Okay.
But we just negotiated 10,000 naira. Oh, don't worry, it's free, bail is free. Sergeant, return him back inside. Sir, do you understand that?
That is a country that is not functioning.
Please, don't return the person back. Okay, sign it, it's free. Okay, sign. We didn't bill this person on money, the bail is free.
So now,
money is collected.
Now, are you
saying
saying to me that the government is not aware of what is happening? They are fully
we can't say the government is not aware. The government is aware.
Is in support of what is happening. I'd say this, and I'm saying it without fear, that the government, it is actually in support of what is happening, and we're holding those people in high position accountable for what is happening. Because if you look at it, trust me, you can't say to me that they don't know what EFCC is doing to Nigerians.
That's right.
EFCC cannot just walk on the street and then see you, say, oh, you're holding a laptop. You must be a fraudster.
Of course.
So where is the freedom of the people? Where is the right of the people? The rights are being violated every day, and there's nothing that is being done about it. And then you're bringing a list. To my greatest surprise, I saw this list, and you look at it, you see Lawa, Jafaru Isa, Emeka Mba, Jide, we saw Tom Ikime, we have saw A Vice Marshal, R.A. Ojuawo, we have Ricky Tafa, Bala Ngelari, we have Patrick, we have Sambo Dasuki. This is another man that has been detained for a long, God knows how long, without bail. We don't know what the charges are, although they say the embezzled money that was meant for arms to fight Boko Haram. But then, are we not supposed to take him to court? Are we not supposed to prosecute this guy in the right and appropriate channel and then sentence him to jail for everybody to see? We have Musiliu Obanikore, we have Alhaji Abdullahi Diko, we have Alex Bade, we have Femi Fani Kayode, we have Raymond Dokwesi, we have Joshua Dare, former governor of Plateau State. We have Jolly Nyame, former governor of Taraba State. Those are the only, out of the billions and millions of people who have embezzled money in Nigeria. We're seeing only 17 names.
In more than 10 years of operation.
17 names that have been published that, okay, these are the prominent people that have been arrested. Innocent people who, some of them, and look, don't get us wrong here, we don't condone crime. Any form of criminality is condemned by us. But we're saying to you that there are crimes and then there are crimes. You cannot embezzle somebody who you cannot arrest somebody who embezzled 5,000 naira. It's crime. That person is supposed to be prosecuted for it. But how about somebody who embezzled billions that is killing people, money that was meant for basic amenities that will better the lives of Nigerians? And that person is sitting now with a lot of security.
You know, everything still goes back to where we started from. We have a weak system, and what is believed is that I can get away with whatever it is I'm doing. Now, let's look at it. At one point or the other, EFCC, some officials of EFCC, they've tried to do one or two things. But sir, look at it on the flip side. When they get there, they throw money at them. They collect the money and they keep their mouth shut. So even the system needs to be properly checked. the system of EFCC needs to be properly checked, because if those people are these people, like, we want to fight corruption, irrespective of what I'm being paid on a monthly basis, I'm not going to compromise the oath I've sworn to my country to be a patriotic Nigerian, you understand? It is because it's everywhere. Even how will you tell a thief to go and catch a thief? They are both thieves.
That then draw me to ask you this question, sir. Is Nigeria really ready for democracy?
We are not ready.
But for how long?
You see, there are some things that is happening there. If it was to be the military regime, some of these things will never happen.
It's true.
It will never happen.
It's very true, because right now, when you talk about democracy, people don't understand what democracy is. They just think, okay, especially not a lot of people, our African leaders, they just believe for me to be able to hold the power and then you run a repressive government that nobody have a say. Anytime you try to challenge any decision or voice out your anger and your frustration, you are being put behind bars.
That's right.
If not, in a country that is a democratic government that is being run based on the rule of law, we should be able to have in Nigeria, the judicial system, the judiciary should be functioning. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. That's
this name I'm just tip out for you now. Sambo Dasuki has been arrested for a long, long time now. And we can't argue with the charges, but the charges has been that he embezzled money meant to fight to save the lives of people. This guy was supposed to be taken to court. He was supposed to be prosecuted. He was supposed to be sent to jail. If he's going to jail, let's know that he's going to jail. His whereabouts is not known. And at some point, the court even gave order that he was supposed to be given bail. Nothing happens to it. Is that a democratic system? No.
It really is not. And another thing is this: you see all these people in power, they are connected one way or the other at that level. They are just connected there, and it's really a problem. Look at Fela Anikulapo said something about this democracy we call of a thing. He said, "You people, you still don't know what you're doing." Fela died how many years ago? But that guy, we look at that guy, no, this one is a bad person. That's somebody
smoking, he's not
Indian shrine and things like that.
He was like a prophet, actually, because most of the things that he said, they're happening right now. They're happening right now.
And the truth of the matter remains, we still don't know what we are doing. If you see a governor or somebody who left power and is being brought to the books, the first thing, take that international passport, seize that thing, so that guy can't go out.
I don't want to digress, but, we have a vice president now in Nigeria who is a pastor and a born-again Christian. But anyway, you have to hold it. After the short break, we'll then, we'll go deeper into it. And to our beautiful viewers out there, stay with us. When we come back from the break, myself and my co-host Akinkunle Akinola, we've been talking about EFCC and their nefarious activities in Nigeria. And when we'll come back, we'll give you more understanding into that. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're tuning into Matters Arising, and myself and the host Emmy Akura, we've been discussing about the matters of EFCC in Nigeria. Are they really doing what they are supposed to do? That's what we've been discussing. And then, we went on the break, you actually started something, and I want us to get into
it. Okay. What I was saying is that we have a vice president who is a born-again Christian, who is a pastor. And then a lot of people will argue with me, though, because each time I try to bring this out, people try to go on me like, you're talking about a pastor. But, if you are a pastor and you're in a position of power, you're the number 2 citizen in Nigeria. And if some of the decisions and the policies are not favorable to the Christians, especially the majority of the Christians that are living in the country, I think you will have to have a rethink. And also, like we're mentioning some of the activities of these anti-graft and all that, and we have SARS is another topic that we need to deal with on a different day. But then you have those things going on, and we're not hearing from our beloved pastor and the vice president. What do you think the problem is?
That's a very sensitive thing to really look at. One thing I believe in life is this: if you're not ready for something, don't venture into it.
Okay.
If you know your voice will not be heard, or if you know that you will not be a voice in a particular space, don't get yourself in it because of the name you've built for yourself thus far.
Okay.
Your word is your bind, and whatever you do becomes a legacy. You know? One of the things I've discovered, okay, I'm going to look at it from the Christian perspective and from the general view. As Christians, the day you give your life to Jesus Christ, you lost that thing you call your right. Not because we are fools, not because of anything, because the life we live the life of Christ. And we're taught what? Obedience to authority. You understand? That's from the Christian perspective.
But also the Christian perspective that you're talking about. Romans 9:1 says to us that I'm telling the truth in Christ. I am not lying, right? For my conscience confirms it in the Holy Spirit. That is telling us that no matter what, sir, if you stand for the truth, no matter what in Christ, if you are in Christ, the truth should be your watchword. You understand what I'm saying?
You're very correct. So if we now look at it, okay, we bring scriptures, we bring the aspect of leadership and followership, obedience. But the point is this, and that's why I said this is a very sensitive thing, and we're trying to be careful as to how we deal with it. When you get into a political space, as a pastor, as a Christian, not compromising your faith, stand for what you believe in.
That is what I'm saying. Because most of these things that are happening, we're supposed to be hearing from. Because at least if there's a very stiff rejection from the people at the top, I strongly believe that some of these things are going to be looked into. You know, but then if you look at the EFCC that we're talking about now in Nigeria, the EFCC has actually deviated from the purpose in which they were created.
That's right.
Right. Because we're not seeing what is happening. I will tell you something. I'm from a state called Benue State in Nigeria. And in that Benue State, and now get me right, I am not accusing anybody, but we had a governor. When military handover in 1989, the governor we know as Akume, George Akume, he was there for 8 years. 8 years of this man being in power, there's nothing to show that he did one single thing in that state. After he finished from there, he was in the Senate. He was in the Senate. So now, is the EFCC saying to me that there was nothing?
For 8 years then.
For 8 years. First, sir, let's look at it. Because let me tell you, when Julius Malema went into Pan-African Parliament, this is what he said. He went there and people were bringing bees and here and there, and they were saying, we need to check the term of every leader at the end of 5 years. Malema said, no. Budgets are not being passed at the end of 5 years. Every year they pass a budget. So we need to, every year, we need to hold you accountable for whatever it is that happened in the first year. In the first year, your budget, this is what was given to you. In this 1 year, okay, this is what I do, this is what I do, this is what I do. In that way, you'll be able to, keep these people.
There will be accountability.
You understand what I'm saying? But now we don't, somebody rule for 8 years. EFCC should be able to, every year, this is the budget of a state. The budget is 10 billion. This 10 billion, what did you do with 10 billion? We're able to, let's monitor it. Monitor these, the progress.
You know, my own, honestly to God, you're 100% correct. But sir, if we have a system in place that you know that when you do wrong, you're going in, you're going, you are going, all these things will not be there. Look at the military era. They catch you, they put you inside straight. Before you get inside, the armies would have shown you flames.
Another thing also, in South Africa, and I was saying to a South African friend, I was saying to him that he is complaining about Zuma building, upgrading his house for 250 million rands. I was saying to him that is change when it comes to even local government councillors or chairmen when he goes to Nigeria. In Nigeria is the only country where 20 billion or 40 billion dollars disappeared, and the economy did not even shake.
And nobody even questions anything. It's just there.
Here we have an agency that was created to monitor these things, and nothing has been done. We've never heard that this $20 billion that was disappeared under good luck. This is where the money went to. This is what they did with the money. This is who was arrested, and this is who went to prison. Tell me.
It's a serious problem because, I'm having several thoughts in my mind. I'm like, we've missed this thing somewhere. And for us to get it right, we have to go back to the drawing book and we have to say what is meant to be said. We need to call a spade a spade. And I only have one challenge to the judiciary arm. If they can do what they are supposed to do, corruption will definitely
But they are
reduce.
not independent.
They are not independent, but nobody is still above
No,
the law.
I'm
We need
saying
to
I'm
understand.
saying they are not because they've been bought.
Yeah, that's it.
You know?
So if we all come to this conclusion, nobody's above the law. Even if you are the chief judge, if you are the president, you come, you stand in front of the chief judge, says whatever. If he says go inside, you're going inside. Nobody's okay. Another thing is this: you pay bribes. People collect bribes. But if we see people that we've seen, let's say we see examples of people trying to pay bribes and they go in for that. I'm telling you, everybody will be scared to pay bribes.
You know what? And this is my theory. Like I always say, it is not proven by anyone. But I just think that because corruption has been institutionalized in Nigeria, right? And I look at it that corruption is more powerful. It's a more powerful department in Nigeria than the EFCC.
That's right.
It is more powerful if you are not a member of the ruling party in Nigeria. The EFCC are going to come after you. Check most of the people, some of the people that were shown that they were arrested. Some of them, if they were in the same party, they disagree with the policies of the government of today. And then these people have been arrested for money laundering. So are you saying these people, if somebody like Jolly Nyame, they say he embezzled money as a former governor of Taraba State when he was in government, yes. Are we saying that we have other governors from APC or PDP who were in the Senate,
yeah, that's right,
who did not do what he did?
Everybody
Why
there.
are they not being brought to book?
No, they need to check everybody there. Trust me. Because, like I said the other time, and it's what we all know in Nigeria, you will see them award billions and billions on something that does not even exist anywhere. Nobody's questioning anybody. It shows that we really need to get it right.
Since the military handed over, this is very scary though. Since the military handed over in 1999 to Obasanjo government, then we've spent a whole lot of years in government, a democratic government, and they've been budget every year in Nigeria, and they've been projects that have been promised, that they've embarked on. And until this day, there's no one that is completed.
No one.
When I mean no one, Obasanjo came in Nigeria. At least Obasanjo was able to bring the GSM, which is a safe phone that a lot of people are using today. Whether we criticize him or not, he had brought something that we are seeing. And some of the government that came after him, we're seeing little from them. So are you saying, because it's very, I don't even know how to put it. There should not be anything like EFCC in Nigeria because they are corrupt. They are not in existence. They are not effective. They are not functioning. If there's any other word that I will use for it. And look at EFCC from that time. There are billions of dollars that were expended on projects that were not completed. Nigeria is still in the dark. Nigeria still don't have light. Nigeria still don't have roads
and things like that. Yeah.
And
basic amenities.
Monies were
we see healthcare and all those things.
Monies were spent on this project.
Let me give you a practical example. And my own take will still be that harm needs to be strengthened. Somebody was actually saying something to me. We had a very good conversation, and I actually picked something from it. In South Africa, if you're given a contract to build the road, you get the contract, and then you also give them a maintenance plan for, let's say, a period of 10
years
to 20 years. Sir,
if anything happens to it,
if anything happens, let's say you build the road now, you've constructed the road, in 6 months there are potholes anyway. Sir, you're going inside.
Okay.
You don't come with inferior materials. Don't try it.
Okay.
Don't.
Now, I agree with you, sir. Now we are holding EFCC accountable for the lot of lives that have been lost in Nigeria. And I will tell you why. Somebody will say EFCC is not in charge of protecting lives. They are in charge of protecting what will maintain that life.
That's right.
And they're failed to do it. If you look at the roads, let's look at Lagos-Ibadan. So I know that road very well. And I also lived in Lagos. So I know that road. A lot of people have died.
On that road.
On that same road.
That's right.
And contracts are being awarded on that road.
Yeah.
Nothing is being done about it. And here we have An agency fighting corruption.
That is a support. They are meant to fight corruption.
And they're not
They,
doing it.
even if it's that Lagos Ibadan expressway project that they want to sit on.
See,
I'm telling you, we will know that they've done something.
we need to see the papers. Who this contract was given to?
That's right.
What was the agreement?
What was the agreement?
How much was
Any
given to
maintenance
you?
plan? What are the things you're supposed to do?
You know-
What materials did you use? Have you used inferior materials, substandard materials?
Yes.
The moment you do that, you go inside. You give us our money. We want our money back. Let us give it to people that will know that will do what they say they want to do.
So, sir, in all the discussion that we heard so far, you will agree with me that this agency was created to attack political opponents. No, it was not for the interest of Nigerians. EFCC is not for the interest of Nigerians.
If you are not in
We've
the ruling
heard,
party.
no, listen, we heard that Buhari came into government, and we heard that EFCC has recovered so amount of money. We've not seen that money put into making the lives of Nigerians better. There's no basic amenities anywhere. There is, I mean, sir, contracts are going on billions of dollars every year, every month in Nigeria.
That's right. And you can't see what...
EFCC is busy arresting a boy who is walking down the road with a laptop. A boy who somebody say, oh, he took 5,000 from me, $5,000 or 5,000 naira. The EFCC is going after these people.
When you have those ones
Something that is making the country to collapse and go back. It's here. Nothing is being done.
We go back to the vision. They need to get the vision. And if I actually want to say something at this point, the current chairman or whoever is in power for EFCC, that person needs to be brought to the book. And every other person in the system, if they won't work, let us shut down that harm. We don't want it. Let us now come and sit down. Because I still believe we still have good Nigerians in Nigeria with good intentions, with good minds. Let us look for people like that. Let us empower people like that. Let us put people like that in place. I want to believe, if not that our current vice president is sitting in that space, he would have been a good person. But now he's there like this. God will help him because it's part of the prayer.
And he's very, very incapacitated right now. There's
Extremely.
nothing
That office to me, that office of the vice president is just a title.
That is how
It's just a title.
That's
You're just...
That's how it. Even
and we pray.
And you know, another thing, just before you close the show, sir, what I want you to understand is that the EFCC needs to be independent, an independent institution. If that's the only way they can be able to fight corruption and crime. If they are not, because right now they are listening to the government of the day, and when the government of the day comes and is out of power, then they shift their loyalty to somebody else.
That's right.
You know, so and it's really it's not making sense. In the process, they are being handicapped, and they can't do anything. You know.
Before we actually go, I just want to use this medium as well, because I think we've said a whole lot of things. It's left to the government if they will hear what we have to say, if they will also see from our perspective, because so many times when people say from their perspective, they think they're right. But if you turn the tables around,
you will be able to see.
You'll be able to see it. However, what we've said, we've not come and say Nigeria is a bad country.
No.
But we are just trying to say that there's a system that is weak, which our leaders need to pay attention to, and they really have to work on, because lives are being lost on a daily basis because a department is not doing what they're supposed to do. Like Emmy said something which is very profound and true. Lives are being lost because they've awarded contracts and people are not doing what they are supposed to do. However, EFCC needs to come in place. And we also want to use this medium to also encourage you. You can drop your comments with us, your own opinion about matters arising. A number is going to scroll on the screen. Just drop your comments, your opinion. We'll come back, we'll discuss on it. And I want to promise you, next time we'll come in next week. If time will permit us just to do a recap on this, or just to, if there's any development, however the case may be, we'll bring it to table. And if not, we'll look into other issues arising. Before we go finally, do you have one or two things you want to say before we end it finally?
I believe that Nigeria is going to be a better place for everyone to live.
Amen.
We just need to understand who we are and then stand up to that, and you know, everything is going to be okay with.
Thank you so much. That's so powerful, so powerful, so powerful. And to our viewers out there, I believe you've learned one or two things on what we've said thus far. And I also want to encourage you at the grassroots level. If there's any form of corruption you are in, please, let's start working from the grassroots. If you and I at that level can say no to corruption, let's build it up. Let's build it up. And I promise you it's going to get to the top. If you can say no, he says no, I say no, we continue to build it up. We're not going to give bribes, we're not going to do that, then it's going to go up. And we'll still remain here for you, still on Matters Arising. Till we see you next time. Don't forget to drop your comments. Don't forget to drop your views. Even if you have any issue you feel like you want us to talk about, you can just drop it with us. We'll come back and we promise you we will be sincere and we will be genuine. We will not be biased on anything. We still say Matters Rising on our team. Thank you for watching. Remain blessed.